everyone. My name is 𝙈𝙐𝙎𝙄𝘾 and welcome to today's webinar. First of all, I want to say thank you for taking the time to attend this webinar. I also want to thank DICT for inviting me to have this talk with you and share my knowledge and experience on how to get hired in the BPO industry. But this time it's different because we're doing this in the midst of a pandemic. And I know how tough it is to look for a job right now. It's tough to look for a job when there is no pandemic. How much more if there is a pandemic? But I assure you that it is not impossible because I myself have worked on a certain project, started a certain project in the middle of a pandemic. It was totally unexpected, but it happened. So it is definitely possible for you to get a job as long as you believe that you can. And this is why I'm here for. I'm going to share with you some actionable steps to get hired in the BPO industry amidst the pandemic. So before we start, let me just turn off my video so that you can see the entire presentation and you can follow along. Okay. Let me just quickly introduce myself and my background, how I started. In 2009, I moved to Cebu from General Santos City to work in one of the BPO industries, one of the BPO companies, rather, here in Cebu. So I started as a telephone banker, customer service specialist, handling a retail banking account, including credit cards, claims, online. I actually enjoyed that job when I started. I was just 20 years old back then. After about 10 months of taking calls, I became a peer coach and subject matter expert because I was recommended by my supervisor. Then after that, I became a lead trainer. I really wanted to grow in the BPO industry and develop my skills. So I applied for the trainer position, and it is something that I'm passionate about, educating people, sharing my skills and experiences. So I was a lead trainer for the most part of my career in the BPO industry for 7 years. Then in 2016, I resigned from my office job, and then I moved to a work from home job. I became a digital content creator, and I handle different clients, and I also take care of their marketing and content strategies. A year later, I decided to create my own YouTube channel called 𝙈𝙐𝙎𝙄𝘾 because I want to share my skills and experiences and how to get hired. Not just that, but also to survive and thrive in the BPO industry. Currently, I still have the same, I still create YouTube videos and videos on different platforms such as Facebook and Instagram and soon on TikTok, but I'm going to create learning content on TikTok. Also work as a training consultant sometimes and content manager. So yeah, I want to have that same drive and passion and bring that into the online community. This is my YouTube channel. It is fast growing. If you haven't checked it out yet, you may want to check it out after. It's again helping people to get hired and thrive in the BPO industry. Moving forward to the objective, I only have one for this webinar, and this is to help you take action so that you can apply for a job and get hired. As I mentioned, it is not easy to look for a job nowadays. So this is what I want you to think of as we go along in this webinar. You know, that you have to take action so that you can apply for a job and get hired. Now, it might be too vague or unclear for you, which is why I translated it to our ultimate goal, which is to bring you from point A to point B. So what does this mean? I'm assuming that since you signed up for this webinar, that you are looking for a job or employment in the BPO industry, or maybe even though it's not the BPO industry, but you just want to know how to get a job in the middle of this pandemic. So this is you right now. You are looking for work. This is point A. And then our goal is to bring you to point B, wherein you are already successfully employed. I also want you to have this in mind as you move along with this webinar. Again, that's to bring you from point A to point B, from looking for work or unemployed to successfully employed. Now that we have our goal in mind, let's talk a little bit about the BPO background to those who are not yet familiar with it. If you're already familiar with it, then this is going to be a really quick review. So when we say BPO, it's business process outsourcing. It's one of the biggest industries here in the Philippines. And that means to contract part of the operations and responsibilities of a specific business process and function to a third-party solution provider. So in other words, if let's say a company in the US wants to outsource its customer support or contact center in the Philippines, then that's called business process outsourcing, because that's like the most common type of outsourcing. If you notice, there are a lot of call centers or contact centers in the Philippines. Now, when we say BPO services, that can actually include a lot of things, not just contact centers or call centers. It can also be payroll, human resources or HR, can also be accounting, and what I mentioned about contact centers. And it is called contact center if, let's say, a company handles not just voice calls, but also emails or chat support, any type of contact from the consumer or the customer to a customer service specialist. Another is IT support or management. We also have IT-BPM, because I noticed that in our ad on Facebook, it says Gateway to IT-BPM. So just to give you an idea, it's called Information Technology and Business Process Management. It is basically the approach or the ongoing process that is used for managing a business operation so that we can maximize customer satisfaction, execute improvements in the business. In other words, this is the ongoing process that is being used by companies to improve the business or to improve the business of the client and satisfy the customers. Okay. If you have more questions about that, then you can definitely ask later. Now let's talk about the steps. Okay. Before we talk about step number 1, I just want to define actionable steps, because I really highlighted this on my title, because I want you to know that what I'm going to present to you are actionable, and these are realistic, measurable, and attainable steps that you can do to fulfill a bigger goal. Why does it have to be realistic, measurable, and attainable? Of course, we want to know that we are already nearing our goal. So the bigger goal, remember, the ultimate goal is to bring you from point A to point B, right? Which is from looking for work to successfully employed. And then by doing actionable steps, you'll be able to say that, okay, I've done this step. It's like a to-do list. You have a list of things that you need to do. So once you're done with step 1, you can cross it off. And you can move on to the next step, until you're done and you are already going to achieve your bigger goal. A lot of us, would usually apply for a job when we need to, but sometimes you don't really think of preparing for your job application. A lot of people don't prepare for their job application. But if you're watching this webinar now, then please commend yourself for making an effort to prepare, because this is also a form of preparation. And I just like to say that when you prepare, you're always ahead. Okay. The best time to prepare was yesterday or days ago. Okay. And the second best time is today. So if you haven't prepared weeks ago, no, because of a lot of circumstances, then don't worry. You can still start now. After this webinar, you can already do these actionable steps that I'm going to present to you. So here's the step one. This might sound simple. Take a hard look on your hard and soft skills. Like really deep dive on what you're good at. When it comes to looking for a job in a crisis or in this pandemic, it's not enough that we're just going to look for a job and set it and leave it. The most important thing now is for you to have the edge among other applicants, because the competition is tough. You can't just like submit your resume and that's it. You have to be extra. You have to do your best to stand out. Okay, that's what we need to do. So you might say that it's so simple. It's so simple to look at my hard and soft skills. But actually, a lot of applicants do not know what their skills are. Like when interviewers ask them, what are your greatest strengths and weaknesses? Those have something to do with the skills and they won't be able to explain properly, which is why the step one is to really go back to looking at yourself. What are you good at? Okay, to define quickly, when we say hard skills, these are abilities you learn in school or on the job. Okay, these are the skills that show you are great for a specific job. We may also call it technical skills. Some examples of hard skills are marketing, programming, typing, budgeting, writing, and video editing. Okay, these are just some examples from a lot of other hard skills that one person can have. Then we have soft skills. Okay, these are personal attributes, personality traits, inherent social cues, and communication abilities that are needed for success on the job. I read one time that soft skills are actually the core skills, because the technical skills can be learned in school or on the job, but soft skills take time to develop. Okay, because these are interpersonal. These are your personality traits, and these are also some of the traits that employers are really looking to have from their applicants or from their employees, because again, they can train for the technical or hard skills, but soft skills, you really have to have it in you to develop it, and hopefully with the help of your future employer. And by the way, if you notice that I am speaking in English, I'm Bisaya, but I want to speak in English because I also want to share this to some of my viewers on my YouTube channel who do not speak Filipino language, Bisaya, or any language that we have. Just want to make sure that everyone can understand. So I just want to insert it because you might be asking, why am I talking in English when I can just speak in Bisaya or Tagalog? So anyway, now that we have that in place, let's continue with soft skills examples. So we have interpersonal skills, communication, collaboration, problem solving, leadership, and work ethic. Now, why is looking at your hard and soft skills important? It helps you narrow down your job search. Sometimes when you are very into your job search, sometimes you're just wasting your time looking for different companies to apply to, different jobs to apply for, without really knowing what you want and what skills will help you get the job. So if you have a list, or if you already know your hard and your soft skills, you'll be able to narrow down your job search. You know that, okay, this is the type of job that will fit me because these are my skills. It also allows you to position yourself as the applicant who fits the job role. So for example, you want to apply for a job in the IT industry, but then you haven't really studied IT, you don't have experience, you haven't learned anything from you haven't learned anything about the industry yet, it will be impossible for you to get the job right away at this time, because employers will really look for people who have the skills and experience. Sometimes not the experience, but at least people who are skilled in IT. So you might just be wasting your time looking for a job in the IT industry when it does not really fit your skills. But I'm not saying that you cannot look for a job in the IT industry in the future. Of course, you still have to learn, right? So if you want to get a job as soon as possible in the midst of the pandemic, then you have to look for jobs that fit your skills or your experiences. It's easier for you to get hired that way because you already have the knowledge and experience. You can also position yourself well. For example, you can tell your employer that, okay, my name is Rhea and I have this experience in IT industry. Even though I don't have experience yet in the IT industry, I graduated I graduated from this course, or I studied this in college. So at least you can connect it with what you have done in college and possibly your experience. So at least your employer knows that, okay, this person is fit for the job. Now, here is our action item. This is what you need to do. Very simple. Get a piece of paper or a notebook, write down your hard and soft skills. If you already know what your hard and soft skills are, for sure it's also, if for sure they're just in your head. And I personally believe that when you write things down, you remember them even more instead of just, thinking about it. So write them down so that you can look at them every single time you're looking for a job, and then you can reference back to your list of hard and soft skills. Your list will come in handy when you are looking for a job. Okay. Now, aside from creating a list of your hard and soft skills. So let's say, for example, you already have your list. You're confident that, okay, these are my hard and soft skills. You can already create and build a strong online job profile. That's step two. And even though you are not looking for an online job at the moment, it is still best that you create a strong online job profile. Why? This is why. Okay. A lot of companies are now looking online to hire employees. And this can be, you can attest to this for sure at the moment. When you are looking for jobs, you will definitely look online, right? Because a lot of us won't be able to go out anyway. And so if you don't have an online job profile, then how will the employers find you? How will the hiring managers find you? Okay. So by having an online job profile, you will have a greater chance, to get hired. You'll have a greater chance to be seen by different hiring managers. Sometimes you may think that an online profile or online presence is just for influencers or famous or popular people. Well, we are already in this era wherein everyone can create an online presence. If you already have a Facebook account or an Instagram account, you have an online presence. What we can do again is to take it to the next level and really have a strong presence so that you can you will have a greater chance of being seen by your employer. So you make your profile stand out from the competition. And how do we do that? Talk about what you can do for the client or the employer, and don't just enumerate your skills. When you are talking about your skills, it's not like, you're just listing them on a resume. Well, it makes sense if you list your skills on a resume, but when you have an online profile, it is important that you talk about what you can do for the client or employer. Pretty much like when you are having an interview with a hiring manager. You don't just say, I know marketing, I have great communication skills. You don't just list all of those. You also have to elaborate and explain to them what makes you the best fit for the job or the role. Okay, but you have to be direct. Also be creative to attract potential employers. Remember that the focus here is what you can do to contribute to the company. For sure, in the long run, you will know how the company can help you grow and develop. But at this point, since you're the one applying for a job, you have to think of, again, what can I help the company with so that the company will be able to continue its business, to be able to serve its employees and customers. Okay, so how do we be direct and creative? This is our next action item. Okay. Sign up to online job portals even if you're looking for an office-based job. And I'm saying this because at the moment, even though you tell yourself, I do not like working from home just yet, I really want to work in an office, then okay, that's fine. But you do acknowledge that we are in the middle of a pandemic, and the best time more than ever to start working from home is today. But then again, I will not tell you to work from home now if you are not able to do so, primarily because maybe first you don't have a working computer or laptop just yet, or second, you might not have a stable internet connection just yet. And those two are really needed when you have a work from home or online job. So if you don't have those two yet, then it is still possible to look for an office-based job. A lot of my viewers of my YouTube channel and in my Facebook group are always saying that they have an interview going on. So it is still the BPO industry is still hiring even in the midst of the pandemic, right? And aside from that, you might change your mind in the future. So at least at this point, even though you don't like an office, even though you don't want to work from home yet, you already have an online job profile that you can use next time you want to move to a work from home position. Or we never know, maybe your employer is going to allow you to work from home, right? Where do we start? Okay, these are some of online job places or companies that you might want to look at to start your job. We have Upwork, but this one is mainly for applicants or people who have extensive experiences. But you can still try to sign up here and see how it looks or how it works. And we have Online Jobs PH. This is usually recommended for beginners. You can look for a job because there are a lot of job postings that are fit for starters or for newbies. And we have Fiverr, but this is mainly for like quick projects, creative projects like design, graphic art, logos. And we have Freelancer. Job.com. This is also applicable for both work from home and office-based job. And in fact, I've had an interview invite from jobstreet.com previously. So it does work. Just sign up for a profile if you don't have yet, and then you will certainly find something in there, especially when you're not yet ready to start working from home. You can look at JobStreet. We also have LinkedIn, which I will talk about more later. And these online job portals are different and similar in some ways. So what I recommend you to do is to look it up online, sign up if you can, and then look for tutorials on YouTube or on Google so that you'll know how to best utilize your online job profile. Aside from that, we also have Outgive. I've worked in Outgive for so long, and I can attest to the team culture, and there are also a lot of remote job opportunities. And currently, I am partnering with Multiply Me. It is a new age BPO company, but all the the jobs are remote or can be done from home, right? It's like an online BPO company. So the way you apply is you just really have to go to their Facebook pages for Give or Multiply Me, and then you can see different job opportunities. You can sign up if the jobs fit your skill set. I'm not going to walk through each one of them because it will take us forever. So again, I give you the responsibility to look it up online. Okay, now what to do? Come up with a strong, compelling job title and skill summary. Okay, a lot of people will just put graphic designer, customer service specialist, data encoder. But again, at this time, we need to stand out. We need to have a compelling job title, and I'm going to show you some examples on how we can achieve that. We can also follow, So just to credit the source of this, because I was looking for different job descriptions online and I wanted to see which ones are the best. They got this from homebasedpinoy.com. And this is an example of a generic job online profile. Again, if you don't want to start working from home just yet, you can definitely still apply this tactic or techniques when you're applying for an office-based job. Right? The usual thing is that you just want to apply as a data encoder, and then that's it. And then you list down all your skills. Excellent in use of Excel and other Microsoft applications, fast worker, I complete jobs quickly, reliable and efficient, I complete the job on time. So if you can see, or if you can notice, it's like an enumeration of skills and what you can do, right? It's very generic. But if we want to take it to the next level, this is how it looks. Still the same source from homebasedpinoy.com. So the job title is going to be efficient and accurate data encoder who gets reports done fast. So notice that there are buzzwords, okay? The previous one is just data encoder, plain and simple. This one, it says efficient and accurate. An employer sees that on your online profile, he or she will get away that you're efficient and accurate, and you can get reports done fast. So just by looking at the job title or what you are applying for, your employer or your hiring manager rather already knows what you can do for them. So you can start with an introduction like this. Need reports tabulated in a spreadsheet quickly. Want error-free, professional-looking spreadsheets of all your research. Someone to convert your raw data into masterfully written reports that are clear and precise. Look no further. As your data encoder, I can guarantee the following. Quick turnaround time for your reports. Easy to read and precise reports that match your needs. Professionally crafted reports that are done with minimal supervision, able to communicate with you clearly and always available for additional instructions. So if you compare this one to this one, okay, applicant definitely has a more elaborate job title and skill summary. It's not even really long, right? It's very comprehensive, and everything that the hiring manager needs to know is already there in one glance. So you might want to follow this technique either when you are creating your online job profile or when you are answering interview questions. Again, just enumerate your skills. Have to elaborate what you can do for the customer, just like how this profile is created. Okay, now that we have that, now that that's set, for example, you already have your online job profile and you already know how to create an elaborate, creative, and strong job title and skill summary. Our step 3 is to tailor your resume and or cover letter to the job description. This will be easier since you already have a list of your hard and soft skills and you already know how to make your profile creative or how to make your skill summary creative and strong for your employers, right? Now, why is this important? When you have a tailored resume and or cover letter, it gives a signal to the hiring manager that your resume is relevant and that you're fit for the job. And it makes you stand out from the competition. Just imagine how many resumes and cover letters a hiring manager goes through every single hour. There are probably hundreds, right? So it is possible that your resume will just be covered by another resume, which is why we need you to stand out from the competition. And the very first thing that the hiring manager will look at is your resume. It's probably just a simple piece of paper for you, but if your resume is not attractive enough for the hiring manager, then you lose the chance of getting hired. Okay, so I hope we understand the importance of this. You don't just send out a generic resume, like create one generic resume and then send it to 10 different companies. It might work at some point. It might have worked for you at some point before, or it might work sometimes. But then again, I want to reiterate, say this again and again. You want to stand out and you want to have the edge over your competition in this time of tough job market. So what do we do to create a tailored resume and cover letter? By the way, some companies do not ask for cover letters anymore, so it depends. Review the job description carefully. This is one thing that a lot of applicants do not take time to read. You know why? Because when you look at Facebook, the entire job description, responsibilities, requirements, and everything are already on the Facebook post. But then you will still see a lot of applicants or people commenting, what are the requirements? How do I apply? What do I need to apply? Where do I go? So you will really know that a lot of people are not reading. How much more reviewing the job description carefully. So please, give yourself a bigger chance of getting hired by being mindful. Review and read carefully. Next, connect your skills and experience to the job description. You don't just read the job description, set it and forget it, apply. That's not how it works. You have to have a strategy. And your strategy is to connect your skills and experience to the job description. Example, the job description as a customer support specialist. You need to have experience as a customer support specialist. These are the requirements, by the way, because the job description can be very long, but I just took the requirements part. So experience as a customer support specialist or similar customer service role. Familiarity with our industry is a plus. Excellent communication and problem-solving skills. Multitasking abilities, patience when handling tough cases. So the first one, if you're looking at it, experience as a customer support specialist or similar customer service role. So it does not have to be voice account. It can be any similar customer service role, right? And then even though you don't have an experience, even though you don't have an experience, but if you're familiar with the customer service industry, then you still have a chance to apply for this role. If you have excellent communication, you can already, you know that for yourself. You can gauge your communication skills for yourself. And problem-solving skills, then you're in. You know how to multitask, you're in. And you're patient when handling tough cases, or maybe in voice calls, maybe irate customers. So now that you have really looked at each line item of the job description, you will be able to relate it to your skill set, right? So what you can do is that when you get interviewed for this role, for example, you can mention that you have an experience as a customer support specialist. You can mention that you're familiar with the customer service industry. And when you are creating your resume, make sure that all of these line items are in your resume. So I hope I am making sense. So again, the idea is that you have to make sure that all of these line items from the job description are written on your resume. Because again, sometimes you think of just creating a generic resume, listing your skills, enumerating your skills, right? But for you to target a certain role, look at the job description and list all of these. But I'm not saying that you list all of the things in the job description, even if those characteristics are not your characteristics. So, of course, if you're confident that you have all of these, then these should go into your resume. And that's already one way for the hiring manager to say that, okay, this is exactly the person that we're looking for, because these are the requirements in our job description. Therefore, I shall call this person today and invite her or him for an initial interview. Okay? So now that you have your tailored resume and or cover letter, by the way, a discussion on cover letter might take a bit longer. So I suggest that you also Google that or look for some examples online. You'll see a lot. But the idea is, again, you tailor fit it to the company that you want to apply for and the role that you want to apply for. Now, step 4 is network online every day. How do we do this and why is this important? It helps you increase your digital presence and stand out. Remember, you already have an online job profile. You don't just set it and forget it. You also have to put yourself out there, right? Your online job profile is like your job portfolio. It shows your skills and experiences and what you can do for the customer. But it's also important that you take time to connect with different people in the industry that you want to be in, because that's the only way for you to be seen. That's the only way for you to increase your chances of getting hired. It helps you acquire insider tips and learn about employers and companies. Remember when, probably when you search for different articles or videos about how to apply in this company, this or that, how to pass your job application, people will always tell you to research about that company, right? And people will always tell you to go to the company website, social media accounts. I would say the same, but to take it again to the next level, you have to take some time and make an effort to acquire insider tips. Ask people or anyone who's working in that company what the company culture is. Maybe you can ask for tips or techniques on how you can advance to the next interview round, right? You can also learn more about the employers and companies, like what are important to them. Then you can engage with them. You can comment on their content, because I know at this point for sure you're also spending a lot of time on Facebook and Instagram. And why not include your professional networking online, right? So what to do? Sign up on LinkedIn. Some of you may have already signed up on LinkedIn. That's good. I commend you. If you haven't yet, now is the time to sign up on LinkedIn. Network daily for at least 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes. I'm sure it's not going to take so much of your time. Okay, if you don't have 30 minutes, then 15 minutes. At least do it daily. You can even do it more than 30 minutes. This is already like taking an effort, putting yourself out there. And if you're not yet sure or familiar with how LinkedIn works, then let me show you quickly how it looks. Let me pause this first. Okay, now we're here on my LinkedIn profile. So let me show you my profile. Has my name, my digital salutation, my about section, and this is what I mentioned to you earlier about what I can do for a company, for example, featured work, experience, licenses and certifications, skills and endorsements, accomplishments, and everything like that. Now, even though you are a beginner, a fresh graduate, you don't have work experience yet, it is okay. You can definitely still sign up for LinkedIn. It is free. You can have your digital presence on LinkedIn, because this is where most of hiring managers go to check profiles, to validate if this person is really who he or she is saying. So again, I suggest go to LinkedIn and sign up. Okay, now going back. So why is this important? You can engage with your connections. You can share updates relevant to your industry. You can connect with hiring managers or recruiters and start engaging with the content of your target companies. I have had so many messages coming from different hiring managers and recruiters previously, just because they see that I have a LinkedIn account and they see that my title or my job role is, for example, that time it was still lead trainer. So the keyword lead trainer will be shown to hiring managers or recruiters looking for lead trainers. For example, if you're looking for an if you're applying for an IT support role or customer service specialist role, you can add that on your job title, and then it will be shown to hiring managers and recruiters. So it will be easier for them to contact you. Now you don't. You not only chase hiring managers or recruiters, but they also actually have the chance to message you, right, proactively. At least it's now two-way. You already have the chance to get contacted as long as you're active on LinkedIn, you connect and you engage, and then you can also message some of the people in the target company that you want to work for, but be careful not to be spammy. So be respectful of other people's time when you send them messages, because LinkedIn is a professional networking site. It's not a place for you to post your selfies or your personal videos. Okay, now that we have that in place, okay, we're done with the LinkedIn. We're almost done with the presentation as well. Step 5 is to prepare for your interviews. This is such a common tip, but a lot of people fail to do so. And whether it is a video, phone interview, or face-to-face interview in the office, which I doubt nowadays because a lot of us won't be able to go out, be sure to prepare. Because again, when you're prepared, you're always ahead. Why is this important? I think it's obvious. It helps you answer the interview questions better and helps you be more confident during interviews, because you've already practiced the different interview questions. You will not be able to practice everything and you will not know the answers to everything, but it is better to know the answers to most of the questions than not know the answers for all the questions, right? All the questions rather. So it is better to be ready. Now, simple. What to do? Write down common interview questions. Where do you go to see those? I will show you later. Obviously, you can research it on Google, definitely. And then write your answer for each question. Okay. Let me show you how I can help you this time. So this is my YouTube channel. Obviously, you can always look for other YouTube channels by all means, but since I have mine, then I just want to share with you the content of my YouTube channel, and these are all free. Okay, you can go to Rhea Ninja and then you can start from the homepage. I have arranged everything by playlist. So we have building confidence. You can use this to start developing your confidence, maybe speaking English, interacting with people, applying for jobs, all that confidence stuff. I have a playlist. I have a playlist on how to work from home, and this one is how to get a BPO job. So I have so many videos here on how to get hired. If you are interested in call center job application, a lot of these are also applicable to other jobs, not only for call centers. Interview tips, practice tests, Versant, editing your resume, and some tricky call center interview questions, which are again not only applicable when you're working or applying for call center jobs, can be for any type of job. And we also have improving your English now if you feel that you still need to improve on that. Training, skills, mock call practice sessions, and my recent videos. You can look at this part to check my recent videos, which are about video interview tips. Okay, the 2-part video series. And before that, I've also posted a couple of videos about home-based jobs, online tools, what you need to know to shift from office to home-based if you are interested or if you're ready to shift. And there, so you can If you have some time, you can go through the videos and for sure you're going to learn a thing or two. Okay, let me pause this again. So for example, you have already researched from YouTube or Google or any place that you want to research from. You already have the answers to the common interview questions. This doesn't mean that you will memorize your answers or copy someone else's answers, because you will sound like a robot just following what the other people said. You have to sound as natural as possible when answering the questions. So I recommend that, when you write the common interview questions, you write your answers, that you just look at it every single day, right? Practice saying your answers every day. And this way, even if you don't really memorize it, you have an idea of what you will say or how you will answer the interview questions. You just recite it every single day and make sure that you practice it with feelings, not just like reciting it just for the sake of reciting. Just think of like how you'll answer it in an interview so that you'll get used to sounding natural. You can change up some of the words that don't sound natural to you. You have all the time to really craft the best answers to the interview questions. And then again, if you want some samples, you can check out my YouTube channel for those. Okay. This is another extra step if you want to be extra and take it to the next level. This pandemic has really changed the landscape of our employment, of our jobs. So it is best to prepare for pandemic-related questions. These are questions that are not asked in a regular day or probably regular season of our lives. So here are some examples. They might ask you what activities you're involved in while we are in a pandemic. So this is your time to showcase what you think are, the productive activities. Okay, maybe you were spending so much time on TikTok creating entertaining or fun videos. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but let's just say you want to bring that up. How does that help you as an individual? Well, maybe creating videos on TikTok helped you become or helped you ease your anxiety, help you ease your stress with all the things that are going on. You don't just say that I did a lot of TikTok videos. So actually elaborate, how did these activities help you? And how can your TikTok videos help the company? So maybe you can say that by creating TikTok videos, I was able to get a hold of myself. I was able to control my emotions and, just enjoy even though things are hard. And I can apply this when I am accepted in your company because, perhaps when there are tough times, I know that I can be resilient. I can still have fun even though the times are not easy, something like that. So everything has to be interconnected and has to be related to how you can help the company. And maybe what have you learned from this pandemic? How can you apply that, to your role in the company? So just some of the examples. And when you're able to give some clever answers to these questions, you already have an edge. You already you have already taken yourself to the next level. And lastly, these are questions that you can ask the hiring manager. And I'm bringing this up because during an interview, a lot of applicants will just say, no, I don't have any questions. When the hiring manager asks them, do you have any questions for me? It's the easiest way out is to just say, no, I'm all good, I'm clear. Even though everything is clear to you, you will have an edge if you close your interview with a bang. Okay, close your interview strongly. And that is by asking relevant questions. With the types of questions that you will ask, it will give your hiring manager or future employer the idea that you researched and that you're really interested in the role. So, how do you go about this successfully? Remember earlier, I asked you to sign up on LinkedIn and look for the company on LinkedIn. You can search for their content. What are they posting? Very rare that a company is not on LinkedIn, but if it does happen, you can check on their website or their official Facebook page. So you can probably ask, how is the company dealing with a pandemic? You can even mention, I've read from your Facebook page, I've read from your LinkedIn page that you actually had shuttle services for your employees, which I really love. So, those things, you can really take yourself out there because you've researched. You can also ask, what goals do I need to achieve within my first 30 to 60 days? Or what do you enjoy most about working in the company? Okay, just one or two questions will do. Even one question is enough. All right. And I guess we're down to our final tips. These are just really simple reminders. Have a plan and take action, because action changes things. So even though right now we're already running at 51 minutes long for this presentation, everything that I have mentioned and said in this entire webinar will not matter, will be of no sense if you don't take action after this. Even just one of the steps, if you don't do anything, then nothing will happen. You will not be closer to your goal. Include learning time in your daily schedule. Well, since you are here right now watching this webinar, I commend you because you inserted this webinar. It's your learning time in your daily schedule. Continue to do that good work. Tomorrow, find another learning time. It does not have to be a webinar. It can be reading books, going through YouTube videos to look for tutorials that can help you improve yourself. Because again, you wanna make sure that you are ahead of your competition. It's not going to be easy. Everyone knows that, but you can do it. The only way to fail is when you stop trying. Because even though you get rejected for a job or a role, to me personally, it's not rejection. I always tell my community that when you get rejected for a role, that doesn't mean failure. It just means feedback. That means it's the hiring manager or employer's way of telling you that you're not yet fit for this job, or you're not yet fit for the company. And maybe you can try other companies or other job roles that are fit for you at the moment. Okay, so don't quit. And lastly, I hope you stay safe and healthy. If you are unemployed now, my heart is with you. I hope that you are safe with your family and your friends are safe as well. And I wish you all the best in your job application. And if you have any questions, my lines are open for free. So you can connect with me, check out my Facebook page. Although my message option on Facebook is actually closed, you can message me on Instagram, LinkedIn, comment on my YouTube. I also have a website, or if you want to send me an email, you can email this, @rheajean.biz@gmail.com. And coming soon is my TikTok account, where I will be posting bite-sized learning content. So follow me at Rhea Ninja if you're already there. So that's about it. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for listening. And again, I'm open for questions, clarifications, or any reactions from you. That's it.